Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's Gary with Gun Fan TV, man. Back at you another video. Like the content of this video, go and smash that like button. Like the content of this channel, go ahead and subscribe, man. Look, so yesterday in the Raven versus Ram recap, I kind of mentioned that I want to talk about Rashod Bateman kind of solo by himself in a single video. That's what we're going to do right now. But before that, I did want to say that Ravens got some big news today that Kyle Hamilton only has I believe they said it's a grade 1 MCL sprain, which is better than a complete tear, ACL, all the things that we thought could have happened to Kyle Hamilton. Grade 1 MCL sprain, so it looks like he'll miss. I think the recovery time they said is anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks. So we know that we're approaching this last month of the season, so it's a possibility that Kyle Hamilton doesn't feature for the Ravens again until the playoffs, right? But we'll see. The good news is that he will feature again for the Ravens, or at least he should. So that's very, very positive news. All right, so I want to talk about Rashod Bateman, right? I want to talk about him in a solo video because I said that, I think it needs more attention about his kind of usage in this offense, right? Just kind of my opinion on my thoughts on it, right? So when I look at Rashod Bateman, right, I see a guy that, a lot of people were expecting to break out last year. He was having a pretty decent year, and then he got injured, right? So now he's trying to come back from that. They've drafted receivers, Zay Flowers. They've added new pieces on the outside, Odell Beckham, Nelson Aguilar, and added a new offense in with Todd Monken, right? So where does Rashod Bateman kind of fit in this puzzle, right? So that seems to be the part that is the most difficult part for the Ravens right now, is where does he fit, right? And it seems as though that the fit that they have for him is the deep ball guy, right? It seems to be that he's always running 30, 40 yards down the field. In this Rams game, there was multiple times where that happened, right? So one of the first ones, obviously, miscommunication. Or I ain't gonna say miscommunication. He stopped running his route. There's no other way to say it. So maybe he thought Lamar Jackson wasn't gonna give him the ball because I think he was open on the previous play. Either way, you can't do that. You got to run your routes 100%, no matter what. That's what makes you a great receiver. No matter if you think you're getting the ball or not. If you're a decoy, you're a decoy. You never know. Sometimes you might blow wide open when you're supposed to be a decoy on a play. Then boom, it's a touchdown, right? Now listen. Now I don't think that play, even if he is running full speed, I'm not sure it's a completion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. Then later in the game, Lamar Jackson interception was also a deep ball to Rashod Bateman. To me, that one was a slight underthrow by Lamar. Lamar played great yesterday, so don't take me saying he underthrew the ball to criticism of Lamar Jackson. He was awesome yesterday. Just he underthrew that one in my opinion, right? Rashod Bateman's running full speed. He tries to turn around, stop, catch the ball, couldn't do it, right? So it kind of made me want to say, like, all right, look, that's how they're using them. And then in the 2-minute drive, right, what do? Out route Rashod Bateman, in route Rashod Bateman. Both, I think one was 12, one was 10 yards. That looked good. He looked comfortable doing that. So I kind of want to look at his scouting report from, when he got drafted, just to see what it was about him, right? You know what I mean? Just going back, just kind of remember what was his profile coming out. So I just got a couple from NFL.com, and I think Bleacher Report. I had these scouting reports on Rashod Bateman. So as far as NFL.com, they had him as a use of diverse release moves. We see that work with Chris route stems. We see that pro ready hands. Now this does say he has build up speed to challenge over the top, right? So that's something that we have seen before from Rashod Bateman. Ability to pluck the ball cleanly, but it's outside of his frame. Now some of his weaknesses, right? Below average tracking and adjusting to the deep throw, right? We've seen that, right? He doesn't really attack the deep ball, right? Lack of consistency against top quarterback competition. That's because he went to Minnesota. So when I look at that, it's kind of saying that Rashod Bateman is a good route runner, good change of direction, and a guy that, he can get over the top on defenses, but that's not what he does best, right? Like he can do that, right? He can be a complete wide receiver, but that's not maybe the best use of his resources, right? How to use Rashod Bateman, right? Then on Bleacher Report, one very good body control and balance, always looks fluid, good hands, able to, this one says he's able to adjust the poorly thrown balls, right? So, but that doesn't mean deep down the field. Wins consistently versus press coverage with balance and footwork. They also say his strength as well. Shows advanced releases more than a typical college wide receiver. Not a blazer, but has plenty of long speed to score on yards after the catch, right? And that to me is the one that really stands out because when I think of Rashod Bateman's biggest play, right? His most explosive play as a Raven is what? the 75-yard slant or whatever it was. It might be 75. Can't remember exactly. But it was 70-plus yard slant he took to the house versus the Dolphins. That's his most explosive play right there. And it's a route that's 5 yards. And he takes it the rest of the way, right? So when I look at how Rashod Bateman was drafted to the Ravens, right? When they drafted him to the Ravens, right? Now, Rashod Bateman did run a 4.3, so he's not a slow guy. He doesn't look slow out there on the deep ball, right? The connection between him and Lamar Jackson just hasn't happened for whatever reason. But when he was drafted to Baltimore, we got to remember, right? This was Hollywood was still here, right? So it was like, okay, we got the speed guy in Hollywood, then we got the do-it-all kind of possession, work the middle of the field guy, can also win on the outside of Rashod Bateman. That was his role, right? Now, with Hollywood gone, the Ravens really haven't had a guy that can replace the speed factor, right? They've got fast guys on the roster before, like Devin Duvernay, etc., like that, but they even tried signing Deshaun Jackson, right? I mean, we know how that happened last year, right? The Chargers ended up catching the deep ball too, where it was versus the Jaguars, you know what I mean? So, the Ravens have been trying to replace that element since Hollywood hasn't been here, and now in that role, it seems to be thrust into Rashod Bateman, right? When you might have thought maybe Zay Flowers will do that role, maybe Aguilar will do that role, right? I just think that Rashod Bateman has kind of been miscast, right? I think it's one of those situations where it's like, well, Zay Flowers is doing all of these things. Odell Beckham is kind of doing the same things Rashod Bateman could do, run slants, get over the middle. So it's like, well, what's left for him to do, right? And what's left for him to do on those plays is run deep. So if I'm the Ravens, if I'm Ty Monken, right, you don't really have to change anything for Rashod Bateman because you got to earn the right for the offense to be changed to you, right? You know what I mean? Zay Flowers has made awesome plays. Odell Beckham is rounded in the form. But I will say, right, if you want to get the best out of Rashod Bateman, how he was used in the 2-minute drill is more along the lines of how he should be used going forward, right? Lined up at X, running your out routes, running your in routes, running your slant routes, right? He gets across defenders' faces really easily. There's multiple stats that can show you that when it comes to separation in man-to-man coverage, like, singled up man-to-man coverage, Rashod Bateman wins often, right? It's not, and even if you just watch the film, right? Rashod Bateman is open now, and that's not saying Lamar Jackson is missing him. Who knows what the progression are on these plays? But it is to say that using him as a goal ball, run the deep post over the middle of the field, like, that's not the best use of his skill set, right? It kind of feels like I said, that the Ravens haven't really been able to replace the deep threat that they once had in Hollywood Brown, and now they're kind of just throwing Rashod Bateman into the role because they have other guys doing other things, right? Zay Flowers gets a lot of the short work, behind the scrimmage, screens, all that kind of stuff. Zay Flowers gets that. When we talk about slants, we know Odell Beckham, they call him Slant King, you know what I mean? He gets that kind of work. We saw Odell Beckham make multiple catches over the middle, on the outside. He gets that kind of work. So it just feels like Rashod Bateman is getting a leftover, and the leftover is, hey, run 40 yards down the field, right? Let's see if Lamar Jackson can hit you, right? It hasn't worked. All right, I think Jonas Schaefer had a stat that Rashod Bateman and Lamar Jackson are like 1 for 10 this year on deep passes. I would assume that's passes 20, 25 yards down the field. I would assume that's what deep passes mean. So it's not great, right? It's not good. It's bad. So if I'm the Ravens, or if I'm Tom Monken, I want to have the offense firing all cylinders, right? And I think that a Ravens offense firing on all cylinders does include Rashod Bateman, right? Get him going. Listen, Odell Beckham is having a resurgence. He's playing really well, but some of the things that Odell does, Rashod Bateman can do as well, right? And now you don't have to sacrifice one guy for the other. Don't have to do that. But I do think that to get the best out of this offense, to get the best out of Rashod Bateman, he must be used in a different way. So that's my thoughts on it, man. I just wanted to give a, quick thoughts about Rashod Bateman and things like that, man. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on all the videos, man. It's Gary Roofters on the Fan TV. I'm out.